All right. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great example to his younger brothers, and peace and blessing, salutation, hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to hopeful lake, the believers and listeners whom have came back to the obedience, all right, of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh by Shema Shai. And what we're going to get into today, pretty much, all right, the theater of war, because one of the headline themes of prophecy, with this third world's war. All right. That's a heavy, prophecy that we await, because pretty much the major two prophecies that we're looking for, all right, and both of them are building up, at the same time, is the MOTB and the Third World's War. All right. And then when you go into World War III, that's going to be the stage where Yahweh Shai, actually appears, all right, within this realm. That's why, World War III is such a, heavy prophecy, because that's the actual, scene when Yahweh Shai will enter, into this realm, and the brother got a precept. We'll start with that. This is the brother prisoner of Hope 144. In Psalms 82 and 8, it says, "Arise, O power, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations." Yeah, see, the Most High is finna bring judgment on the global scale. All right. And World War III will be a part, of that global judgment of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. And then it said, "For thou shalt inherit, all nations." You see? Because through Yahweh Shai, all right, all these heathens will be conquered. You see? All these heathens will be conquered through Yahweh Shai, and the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect, all right, their governing body and the rest of the 1/3 men, women, and children, all right, will inherit these nations for servants. That's going to be the end result of World War III, is Israel being in power, Yahweh Shai, all right, establishing the throne of David in the earth. You see? And we ruling over the heathens. They're going to become what? Our servants. Now, when you get this is a brother Patah Gabar Yashala 2. This Revelation 11 and 14 said the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe, which is the Third World War, cometh quickly. All right. This thing is coming quickly, and it's happening fast, man. Things are moving, quickly towards that war. All right. And I got a few videos I want to play, just to kind of get us all, up to date of what's going on geopolitically. All right. While everyone, in America is worried about, all right, Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard fighting on the bench, grown, grown ass men and women, looking for Halloween costumes, you know, while prophecy, is happening in real time. So I want to start off. Let me cue this video up. All right, now this is going to deal with um all right, what's going on with the US, Taiwan, NATO and Russia. All right. So she, Dina Kalmighty, I think I'm saying her name right, Dinah Kalmighty, she's gonna pretty much sum up a few things, and then we're gonna get some other videos to kind of, go more into detail as well. All right, of what we're seeing building up, and how it plays directly, with prophecy, you know.
The Chinese Foreign Ministry spoke.
Let me see. All right. Pause for a minute. Try to let it catch up. All right. But like I say, she's pretty much gonna go into, the conflict with, all right, America and Taiwan, because what's happening, what's been happening is America has been selling arms to Taiwan. Now, China considers Taiwan an extension, of China, you know. So pretty much America has been weaponizing Taiwan, and that's a pretty much a direct threat to China because Taiwan, is close proximity, to China. And all right, America is putting nukes in Taiwan. All right, you can believe that. All right, when World War III jump off, all right, China's gonna get hit with some of them nukes. All right, America has put in Taiwan, because we understand America gonna be completely destroyed. All right, America gonna get some shots off, and it's gonna hit some folks. All right, but it's all the will of Yahweh Shema al Shah. So basically, America has been weaponizing Taiwan, and China, has been provoked, and there's been rumors, that China, has plans on invading Taiwan, so we'll see how that play out. All right. So the US saying if that happen, they're gonna defend Taiwan. So, you know, hey, it's gonna be a global war. All right. We're coming to global war. And it's gonna be fought on different, stages on the earth, you know.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's Dina Kalmighty here. And for today's report, I do have quite a few headlines I'd like to share with you. And I'd like to start with this report in regards to China and Taiwan. It is being reported that the U.S. Secretary of Defense has reiterated a vow made by Joe Biden this week that Washington would support Taiwan militarily if attacked by China, seemingly in a break with traditional U.S. policy. It goes on further to report that speaking at a press conference, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin reiterated Washington's resolute commitment to NATO and its sacred obligation to the bloc's Article 5 and asked whether the U.S. would defend Taiwan if attacked by China. Austin doubled down on U.S. backing for Taipei after Joe Biden vowed to support the island nation against Beijing. On Thursday, Austin promised that the U.S. would continue to help Taipei with its defense capabilities, stating that we remain committed to the One China policy, as we've done under multiple administrations. We will continue to help Taiwan with resources and capabilities that it needs to defend itself. Austin has also stated that he would not engage in any hypotheticals concerning exactly what the U.S. would.
So he said, that America will aid Taiwan, in resources to defend itself. All right. And America doesn't give a damn, all right, about Taiwan. All right. Taiwan is just a strategic, a strategic place, for America to store, all right, and have a launch pad, for missiles, when war breaks out against China, man. All right. America could give a damn about Taiwan. All right. They're just using Taiwan for military strategic purposes, man. And China knows that. You see?
Would do if China attacked the island nation, which Beijing regards as part of its mainland. He added that nobody wants to see a conflict erupt. But on Thursday, Biden raised eyebrows when he responded to a student's question about Taiwan at a CNN forum by vowing to support the island and saying that he was not worried about Chinese military development. While Biden claimed that the U.S. had made a commitment to defend Taiwan, the TRA Act, which governs relations between the two, does not contain any mutual defense treaty. It goes on finally to report that Washington also pledged to collectively work with European partners to ensure that the Indo-Pacific area region remains free and open. Now, in the meantime, Chinese Foreign Ministry has hit back at the U.S. and demanded Washington adhere to the One China principle after Joe Biden said that America was ready and more than strong enough to defend Taiwan. Speaking at a regular press conference on Friday, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman insisted that Beijing would not compromise on its core interests, stating that Taiwan is a part of China's territory, and the Taiwan part is purely China's internal affair, and no external interference is allowed. The spokesman told gathered press, insisting that no one should underestimate the Chinese people's determination.
And that goes into if a brother can post it, Habakkuk 2 and 4. Habakkuk 2, verse 4, 5, and 6. Because this is what America is doing. They're interfering, with the sovereignty of these other nations, man. and it's just what ancient Rome, used to do. Ancient Rome was known for the same thing, interfering with the sovereignty, of other nations. Yep. And yeah, you post 5 and 5 and 6 as well, verse 5 and 6 as well, brother Papa Shah. All right, this is Yashima tribe of Judah. Habakkuk 2 and 4 says, behold, his soul which is lifted up, all right, in him is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. And see, this man is not right. Everything he does is with ill will intentions, man. All right, it's with evil intention. This man is doing nothing upright in how he's moving. Like I say, he'll make it seem as if, he's for, all right, the people of Taiwan, claiming their sovereignty against China. But no, he's over there weaponizing Taiwan for his purpose. All right, you think he gonna give a damn if Taiwan get blew to smithereens and backed by China? You think no, he don't care about that. He just want somewhere where he can get some shots off and try to be and use Taiwan as a buffer, all right, against China. Because most of those missiles from China, all right, are going to come across the Pacific Ocean, and Taiwan is in the China Sea, all right, before you get to the Pacific Ocean. So you can believe, all right, that this man has, all right, missile defense systems in Taiwan as well to try to block some of those hypersonic missiles that China is developing. We've been hearing a lot about those hypersonic missiles, being developed by China. Well, you can believe that America is positioning, all right, a missile defense systems in Taiwan to try to block, some of those hypersonic missiles from coming across the Pacific Ocean, man. It's not gonna happen. All right. All right, Habakkuk 2 and 5, it says, yeah, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home, who enlarges his desire is hell and is death and cannot be satisfied. And see, this man never keep it at home. He's everywhere. He's everywhere at the same time, man. Because all these conflicts that we're going to go over within these clips, it's going to be America that's going to be the common denominator that's involved in every conflict, man. This is being fulfilled, all right, through America, man. And it says, who enlarges his desire is hell and is death and cannot be satisfied, all right, but gather himself with thick clay. Oh, so like I skip. Hmm. All right. Let me see. So like, but gather unto him all nations. Yeah, through his military, his sword, he pretty much, all right, has gathered all nations, under his authority. That's why, he has the authority to pretty much weaponize whoever he wants, put military bases wherever he wants. All right. Democracy pretty much, everywhere he wants because through the sword he's been able to gather unto himself all nations and heap it unto himself all people. All right. Now this is the part we in now. Verse 6, Habakkuk 2 and 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases, all right, that which is not his, how long to him that laden himself with thick clay. So now we're in a point where these nations are taking up a taunting proverb against America, man. All right, and this agenda, all right, that they have, to subdue all nations through the sword, man. You know? Mm.
Determination to defend national sovereignty and territorial integrity. He called on the U.S. to strictly abide by the One China principle and diplomatic agreement made between Washington and Beijing. The spokesman said that Washington should be careful as to not send a wrong signal with regards to Taiwan's independence, threatening a worsening of Sino-U.S. relations. In the meantime, 5 Russian jets flew too close to Alaska without entering U.S. or Canadian airspace, according to American military officials. The Alaskan North American Aerospace Defense Region said it had detected, tracked, and identified the Russian aircraft entering the ADIZ zone. The ADIZ extends around the shores of the U.S. and Canada and is monitored by civilian air traffic control authorities and the militaries of both countries. Now, the aircraft were operating in international airspace and left the zone at 7:21 p.m., according to the statement. But the statement did not specify how close the Russian planes buzzed the U.S., which is only 2 miles away from Russia at its closest point. It also did not say what kind of Russian planes they were, nor did it say U.S. aircraft had to be scrambled. It goes finally to report that an Air Force commander said in a statement that the U.S. military would be vigilant in their execution of aerospace warning and aerospace control for North America. He added that it did not take measures to deter strategic.
You see Russia, pretty much be torn. Like when you brothers, you few sisters hear about, they had to scramble jets, to pretty much escort, fighter jets from other nations. And what's happening is Russia send jets close to America territory to see how America is going to respond. All right. Before war, it's a lot of things that happen before war. This is nothing but like a pump fake, just to see, all right, well, we fly jets, all right, by this American territory, how will they respond? And they're recording these things. So when war break out, they have, a a counter, you know, for what America has been doing. So a brother can get that in Isaiah 13 and I won't say 17. Yep, a brother can put that Isaiah 13 and 17. All right, because Russia is becoming very brave, and just tampering with America, man. Pretty much daring them to do something. All right, just like when Russia some months ago, Russia shot some missiles off at that British, Navy vessel. All right, shot them shots, and pretty much made that vessel change its course. And Putin stated, like, said, pretty much he told the news like, yeah, we did it, but we knew America wasn't gonna do nothing, you know. So hey, it's up there. Like my brother, like the brother in New Orleans, Kaya, we say all the time, it's up there. It means it is what it is. All right. But this Isaiah 13:17 said, Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Yeah, so the Medes is the Russians, and they're being stirred up. All right. The Russians is stirred up against this place, man. And they precept from the brother by Young Yasha. But yeah, we seeing Russia stirred up, which is roused up, man. You know.
Competitors from threatening the shared interests of the U.S., allies, or partners. But we want to keep in mind that this incident comes just 2 days after Russia's defense ministry said 2 of its Su-30 warplanes escorted 2 U.S. B-1 bombers and 2 KC-135 tanker planes over the neutral waters of the Black Sea. Now, with all of that said, on Thursday, President Putin said the Western-backed military development of Ukraine posed a threat to Russia. The comments followed 2 days after the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin staged a show of support for Ukraine and encouraged its aspiration to join NATO. Putin spoke to the journalists and Russian experts about Mr. Austin's visit to Ukraine, when he said no third party could have the right to veto the country's hoped NATO membership, which paved the way for Ukraine to join. Putin has suggested that Russia's interests were targeted. He stated that formal membership of Ukraine in NATO.
Going back to it again. Now America, is back in Ukraine, and we're gonna go into why. I meant to do it before I started, but I'm gonna get a map, all right, of Russia and Europe, and we're gonna, go into, all right, the strategic, importance of Ukraine. Why America, all right, is pretty much, America and Europe is all for keeping Ukraine independent from Russia. You know, it's all war strategy that we're watching play out. All right. Let me pull up a map. I'll let this play while I pull up the map, and then we're gonna go into it.
May not take place, but military development of the territory is already underway. And he said that this really poses a threat to Russia, and we are aware of that. In speaking to media on Thursday, Russia's deputy foreign minister said that Ukraine's accession to NATO would be an extremely dangerous step. Now, finally, it reports that a Ukrainian diplomat told the Times that any conflict between Ukraine and Russia would cause unpredictable consequences for the European security. The diplomat said that I think an escalation between Russia and Ukraine is highly possible. Now, with that said, the Times is also reporting that the UK is in talks with Ukraine to sell weapons amid fears that Russia intends to utilize the gas crisis to seize territory. The new arms deal will involve Britain providing Ukraine with surface-to-surface missiles. Now, European nations have previously backed Ukraine, but Britain is the first to sell arms to the country. Now, in the meantime, top defense chiefs from NATO member states has given a green light to a new grand strategy on how to beat Russia in any potential all-out conflict. On Thursday, ministers met in Brussels to sign off on a scheme named the Concept for Deterrence and Defense in the Euro-Atlantic Area. According to NATO's General Secretary, it is part of efforts to continue to strengthen their alliance with better and modernized plans. The bloc's officials insist that they don't believe an attack is imminent, but that it is worthwhile being prepared. In any case, it goes on further to report that as part of the plan, NATO troops would fight against Russia's forces in both the Baltic region and across the Black Sea. The battle plans also focus on non-conventional warfare, including the use of nuclear weapons, cyber attacks, and even conflict in space. However, the Kremlin press secretary hit out at the adoption of the strategy on Friday, saying that it shows that there is no prospect for turning around.
So what you have, pretty much, now NATO is, rolling out, a plan, in case there's a conflict, with Russia. All right. NATO is trying to roll out a plan, on fighting, in different areas and also in space. And what does that make you think of, brothers? Fighting in space. What precept and revelation does that, make you brothers think of, brother post a precept in Revelation. All right, fighting in space. You know, what precept talks about that? All right, the actual fight, in space. Um, Still trying. Give me a minute to find a good map. Um, Go into the strategics of it. All right. Let's see, brothers. Let's see. Oh, all right. I see you brothers on it. Yep. The war in heaven, like the brother, Yashama. All right. The brother Yashama tribe of Judah. Um, they said they gonna what? They even preparing, war strategy for space. All right. And they lead to the war in heaven against who? See, like, we said earlier, World War III will be the stage where Yahweh Shah enters into this realm. All right. So they then and they just let that they even have, war capabilities to fight, in space, man. You see? So he goes to Prisoner of Hope on 144, said Revelation 12 and 7, and there was war in heaven. All right. And that's going into what, man? In the upper atmosphere. You see? And it says Michael and his angels, the chariots of Yahweh Bashim Shai fought against the dragon, all right, which is Esau Edom, because he's there, NATO, all right, EU. You see, these nations, all right, make up, this new Roman Empire, America, you know, and the dragon fought and his angels, you see. So it's gonna be the chariots, you know, and those fighter jets, of all right, these heathen nations led by the dragon, all right, NATO and EU and America, because when you combine the fighter jets of NATO, EU, and America, those are the bulk of the fighter jets on Earth, you know. Um, verse 8, it says, and prevail not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. That heaven is speaking of their rulership. Now, they're not, after World War III, there is not going to be any more fighter jets, and these nations are not going to have the capability to put technology, in space. That's going to be done away with, but also their rulership, all right, is going to be done away with. You see? In verse 9, and it says, Revelation 12 and 9, it says, and the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil and Satan, and deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels was cast out with him. All right, his angels was cast out with him. So what we're going to see, all right, is when Yahweh Shah enter into this realm, where the first wave of defense of Esau Edom is going to be his weapons in space and his air force. All right, that's going to be the first thing that Yahweh Shah encounters. All right, as he comes into this realm, and he gonna make speedy work. All right, of the armies of the heathen. You know, matter of fact, a brother put Haggai 22, and that's like Haggai 2 and 22. you know. But yep, called the devil and Satan, all right, the adversary. And speaking of Esau, Edom, who comes in the energy of Satan, all right, like scripture say, who's working is after Satan. You know, Second Thessalonians talking about Esau, Edom, who deceived the whole world. Yep, all right, because who's the one that's doing the deceiving in the earth? It's Esau, Edom, his media, you know, his false narrative of the scripture. It's Esau, Edom that's deceiving in the earth. All right, so let me see some like. Let me see if they map. Okay. I want to see if I can blow it up. Yeah, I might not be able to see that one good, man. Let me see. Oh. See if y'all can see this map. If not, we'll find it's a good one. Um, let me see how it look. Let me see if I can blow it up. Hold on. I might try to find another one. Man, let me blow this one up. Bear with me, brothers. Let me see. Yeah, they don't do us no justice. Well, okay, damn, I do it. All right, so what you have when you look at this map, all right, you got Russia to the right, then you got Europe, all right, to the left. Now, in between Russia and Europe, you have what you call, you know, the Baltic states or the Iron Curtain. And Ukraine, all right, is between pretty much separates Russia, all right, from these European countries. And these other nations, all right, these Baltic states, you know, are pretty much locked in with the European Union and NATO and America. And America weaponized, these other countries like Lithuania, you know, let me see, all these different other countries that was once part of the USSR. All right, now America pretty much uses these nations to store weapons as well. All right, for in the war against Russia. See, but Ukraine, the way that Ukraine terrain is, Russia will be able to get into Europe real quick with an invasion. It will be through Ukraine because Ukraine has a lot of land, where those Russian tanks will be able to get to Europe. See, these other countries have, a lot of mountainous regions where, Russia would not be able to invade, all right, with efficiency, you know, to come into Europe. But Ukraine would be the ideal, all right, land, where Russia would invade Europe. You see? So when you hear about these talks about Ukraine, why does NATO have such an interest in Ukraine? Why is America, so hell bent on keeping Ukraine, sovereign, from Russia? All right, because this would be the ideal, place of an invasion will be Russia coming through. All right, Ukraine, you know, because one thing about it, and now we can let's just get the precepts in Ezekiel 38. You see, and that's pretty much what being spoken in Ezekiel 38. When you go to Ezekiel 38, let me pull that up. All right, so when you go to Ezekiel, so when you go to Ezekiel 38, all right, now listen to what it says. It says prophecy about Gog, all right, and future invasion, all right, of Israel. But we know basically, all right, it's going to be an invasion of the EU, all right. And it said, this is Ezekiel 38 and 1. It says, and the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shai, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, which is Russia, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against it. And say, thus said the Lord power, behold, I'm against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hook into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So yeah, this is an invasion. All right. Russia is getting back into that spirit, all right, that imperial spirit of the USSR. All right, being the dominant power in the earth, and it's gonna cause an invasion. It's gonna cause them to invade. All right, they're gonna come forth from the east. All right, and they're gonna make their way west, all the way even unto the actual land of Israel. So they're gonna come from Russia. All right, they're gonna come forth. They're gonna be running through them EU nations, and they're gonna make it even to that land. All right, in what? In the Middle East. You see, the war of Armageddon. Russia gonna come forth. Like when Russia come forth towards the Middle East, they gonna come forth. All right, the Most High gonna have an energy on Russia, and and man, all right, Russia got some things over there, and so when Russia come forth, they gonna come forth handling swords, man, which is military weaponry, man. All right. But when the Most High calls Russia to come forth, they coming through there. All right. They coming through Ukraine. All right. And they coming in Europe, and they gonna make their way, all right, to that region in the east where Yahweh Shai gonna come deal with everybody, man. You see, it says Persia, all right, which is Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya, all right, those northern African countries, which I believe Russia has, military deals with Libya to build bases there. All right. It says all of them with shield and helmet. Gomar and all his bands, Turkey. All right. The house of Togomar of the north quarter and all his bands and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare thyself, for thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So Russia, all right, knows that what America and the NATO is trying to do is trying to limit them militarily, all right, in case of war. So they want to have control of Ukraine to prevent Russia from coming forth. But the scriptures say Russia gonna come forth. They coming forth, man. All right. Um, Now get Haggai 2 and 22. This book of Haggai 2 and 22. All right, because this is what Yahweh Shai coming to do. And I will overthrow the thrones of kingdoms and will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen, which is their militaries. And I will overthrow the chariots, all right, which is what? Those fighter jets, all right, and those that ride in them, all right, and the horses and their riders shall come down, every one the sword by the sword of his brother. Yeah, because those horses and the riders are the new, because cavalry, the ancient world, the cavalry will be the horses and the riders. Well, now the new cavalry will be these fighter jets, man. You see? So let's go from there. Now, I want to get another video because as pretty much as America is at the forefront, of pretty much poking the bear, right, as they say. These EU nations need the bear. You see, these EU nations need the bear because Russia has a great supply of what they call natural gas. All right, and these EU nations pretty much don't have no resources. That's why this was known as the bottomless pit because it didn't have resources when you go into the scriptures. All right, so I'm gonna get this video from RT. Let me cue it up for you.
I photographed food in New York and Philadelphia and Paris. DocuSign makes it easier for me to do business. When I think of work, I think of being invested in telling a story. Being a small business owner means I'm the CEO, accounting department, the CFO, the head of sales. No one gets into photography because they like contracts. DocuSign lets me take care of the business side much faster. I can get release forms, master service agreements, all sorts of contracts taken care of wherever I am, whenever I want. It's easy to prepare agreements, get them signed, and even get paid. It's foolproof. There's no missing information
when I get the signed agreement back. It streamlines business processes that used to take a long time. It's also easier for my clients.
Welcome back, everyone. With the ongoing gas.
So let's kind of, let's just catch things up real quick. All right, and what's going on now? I know you brothers and you sisters heard about the gas crisis, over there in Europe. Well, like I say, Europe depends on, all right, pipelines to get its gas. It has no, all right, it has no, like I say, no inventory, no stockpiles of natural gases, that they need to fuel their society, you know, and that's why, when America, that's the whole reason why those EU nations was all about keeping that um Iran, all right, nuclear deal intact, because those EU nations depend on, all right, outside sources, all right, for natural gases and oil, all right, and Iran, is one of the main nations that those EU nations were buying, all right, their oil from. So when America puts sanctions on Iran, it directly affects, all right, the EU. When America under Trump pulled out from the Iran nuclear deal, it directly affected the EU. You see? So the Mossad has it where these nations, all right, have conflicting interests. These nations that are supposed to be allied have conflicting interests. If a brother can put that up in Obadiah, all right, I believe it's 1 and probably verse 5 through 7. Let me see. And also, brother can put Proverbs 19 and 21, all right, and Proverbs 21 and 1. But dealing with the Obadiah, it's Obadiah, just put Obadiah 1 and 7. Yep. Yeah, Obadiah 1 and 7, and we'll get straight to the point. In Proverbs 21 and 1, and Proverbs 19 and 21. Yep. I'm gonna play this and then we're gonna get those precepts. All right.
Crisis causing region-wide issues, the European Union may have to look eastward to Gazprom amid the completion of procedures on preparation of the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline for the stop.
And that Nord Stream 2, all right, that gas pipeline, that's a pipeline that would run from Russia, all right, into Europe. You see? And the thing about it, that's why you're seeing so much fighting in Syria, because there's parts of Syria where that gas pipeline has to go through. And that's why you're seeing Russia, be an aid, to the Syrian government, because Russia had interest in Syria. All right. Putin don't give a damn about al-Bashar, all right, and the Syrian people. Putin and Russia has interest in Syria, and that's to run that pipeline through there to make it into Europe. You see? And America doesn't want Europe to be dependent on Russian, all right, oil. So it's a lot of conflict and interest that we're seeing geopolitically that's going to lead to this great war. I'm saying, if you brothers, you sisters got any questions, if something don't make sense, hey, ask on the comment board so we can, make sure we leave with the understanding, but yeah, let me play this.
Start of future gas deliveries. RT's Danny Armstrong has the latest.
Now, Russia ready and able to supply extra natural gas to Europe. Gazprom, that's the state gas provider in the country, has said that it's willing and able to give those supplies to the bloc to deal with the energy crisis on the continent, where energy prices has spiked. We've seen people panic buying from the UK all across mainland Europe too, but it just simply hasn't had that rise, that increase in demand and orders from the rest of the continent. And now it's very strange in any deal where supply will be in abundance as well as demand, but no real willingness to push the deal through. Now, this comes amid reports that the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline is ready and waiting. That's the Russian gas pipeline running from Russia 1,200 kilometers under the Baltic Sea all the way to Germany. And the first string of the gas pipeline has been completed and is ready to deal with orders to the continent. Now, that is waiting for the green light from EU lawmakers, who some critics would say have been dead against the deal, as it would see any potential deal with Russia as increasing the continent's dependence on Russia for gas. Of course, Russia is the top supplier of gas to the continent, with 43% of imports accounted for in 2020 by Russia. Some critics would also say that the US has been frosty on this sort of deal, as it wants to tie up its own deals with the continent as regards natural gas. Now, President
And you look at the alliance, between Russia and Iran, is also based on, a business deal, because Iran, being rich in oil, all right, would be, an asset to Russia in their region, all right, not only to protect, the interests of Russia, because see, Iran, has the capability of pretty much protecting, their gas line in that region. You see, so you see Iran and Russia click tight, because it's in Russia's interest to be a guard, all right, unto these particular nations, all right, to protect their own interests, man. You see, the Most High is playing on the minds of men. You see, there's no higher strategy, than the will of Yahweh Shem Al Shah. All right, he's going to get, his will done in the earth. You see.
Putin has rubbish claims that Russia has ever used gas as a weapon, and has in fact said that the country has raised those supplies. And from the European side, they've accused Russia of playing poker with gas, but the country simply says it hasn't received that rise in demand. So in all, the cards are very much on the European table. It's simply a matter of how they are dealt to get that gas to the bloc. Danny Armstrong, RT America.
So you have that conflict, all right, dealing with, the pipeline, going to Europe. America doesn't want it. You have some EU nations that's for it, some EU nations that's against it. So it's causing a division, all right? And at the end of the day, things that, help America hurt these other nations. They're they're allies, man. And that's why when you go to Obadiah 1:7, says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even unto the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. It says, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. All right? Because what we're watching is pretty much the Game of Thrones. You see? And every nation is going to do what benefits, all right, their region, their interests. You see? These nations are going to do what benefit their interests, and these nations are going to come to the conclusion that America has to be destroyed, man. All right, there's a conclusion that these nations are going to come to, and that's why all they with nuclear capability will shoot on America, man. They're going to come to the conclusion that this place has to go. All right, this is the common denominator. This is the constant problem in the earth, man. Now, this is Proverbs 21:1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, as rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. So it's the Most High, pretty much playing, manipulating the minds of these different leaders of these nations for his own will. All right. And there's World War III, all right, which is the stage of his son coming back, of Yahweh Shai coming back to deal with all these nations, man. So we're seeing the Most High manipulate the minds, all right, of these leaders for war, man. All right. It said there are many. This is from Brother Yashima tribe of Judah, Proverbs 19:21. It said there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shai that shall stand. Yeah. So you have, these nations got all their, agendas and what they plan on doing and what they want to do. All right, how they feel, and by 2021, this 25, we're gonna have this set up and this pipeline. But no, it's gonna be the agenda of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai that's gonna be played out, man. You see, the Most High, all right, he'll have you thinking that you're doing something for your best interest, but it's really for his interest, man. All right, you moving based on his interest, what he needs you to do. All right, it's an ultimate mind game, man. You see, and you can't outthink Yahweh Shema Shai. You can't out strategize Yahweh Shema Shai, which Esau Edom, he calls himself trying to do. Now, I got one more video real quick I want to get, and then we'll get a few precepts to close out. That's another one from RT, and he's dealing with this NATO alliance. If a brother could put the precept in
And Minister Amir
and Daniel, dealing with the 10 toes. All right. In Daniel's 2nd chapter. All right, dealing with the 10 toes. But that's where we're at. All right.
to George's neck of the woods.
I'm gonna play it and pause it because it'll take a little bit of the echo out. I guess kind of let it catch up. Like the brother put, it's the brother occupied till I come. And Job 33 and 15 says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep fall upon men, all right, and slumbers upon the bed, all right, what happens? Then he opened the ears of men and sealeth their instruction. Yeah, so these nations, all right, are doing nothing but, taking their marching orders from, all right, on high, all right, because Esau, Edom, he worships Satan. He comes in the energy of Satan. Well, where does Satan get his orders from? In the book of Job, all right, wasn't the Most High giving Satan direct orders and he was carrying it out in the earth? All right. So what we're seeing Esau Edom doing, he's taking orders from Yahweh Shema Shai. He's making, if you think it on the surface, you would think that, he has an agenda that's completely against, the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. But no, he's playing into the will. All right, and we seeing prophecy line up perfectly as Esau Edom continues to go forth, with what he thinks is his own agenda. All right, so let me play this. All right, now this dealing with the NATO alliance, under threat of complete breakup. All right.
Here, George, this is all happening as French and American officials are heading to Brussels for the summit for NATO. We know the U.S. and France have strained relations right now after the AUKUS deal. Will the pair be able to put that issue aside to discuss other topics concerning the EU, especially since Poland is debating whether or not to follow suit with the UK and exit the bloc?
Well, comme ci, comme ça, I was in Brussels just the other day and able to take the temperature of at least that part of Europe, and it's not overwhelmingly joyous towards the United States. The feeling is more and more that Europe and the United States are on different paths and that those paths are not going to converge anytime soon. People are surprised. They thought that when Biden replaced Trump, that it would be a return to the status quo ante, but it hasn't.
And show you that the president has nothing to do, all right, with the true agenda, of America, and definitely doesn't have nothing to do with the agenda of Yahweh Shema Shai, or what he wants to see, what he wants to happen. You see, my brother can put that. I think there's Isaiah 46 and 9. All right, and 10, So you think Biden, come on, man, this nigga, all right, has no juice on the world stage. All right. He just a nigga because he's spending most of his time wreaking havoc, all right, on on Americans, man. All right. Biden is too busy, deconstructing America, man. Cause if y'all brothers remember, when Trump was in office, Trump was always somewhere. He was always in China meeting with their president. He was always, in Saudi Arabia, meeting with the crown prince. He was always, in Israel. He was in India, you know. Trump was Trump was on the move because Trump on the global scale was pretty much um isolating America from everyone else with the moves he was making, those unilateral moves, that Trump was making. It pretty much isolated, America on a global scale. You see, because he will make moves that will benefit America but hurt everyone else. you know. But with Biden, his presidency is mainly about destroying the interior of America. See, Trump destroyed the relationships with, these other nations, all right, in America. And Biden is pretty much, he's not even on the scene, like on the global scale, all right, on the global stage. Biden is not even on the scene, you know. He's just here wreaking havoc, man. All right. Groping, all right, kids, man. You see? Yeah, absolutely through. you know. And that nigga ain't even he ain't even at the table, man. All right. This is by Young Yasha This is Isaiah 46:9. It said, remember the former things of old, for I am the most high, and there is none else. I am the most high, and there is none like me. All right. Verse 10. Declaring the end from the beginning and from the ancient time, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. And what we're seeing is the counsel of the Lord standing firm in these latter days, man. All right. This is all the counsel of the Lord.
Mike, final word here. Is NATO done for? Is the EU done for? Are we just seeing blocks falling apart?
Well, I'm not hearing NATO say, we miss you, Trump, but he was able to show U.S. leadership in there despite holding them accountable. I think Europe is beginning to think toward itself again, but in some respects, other countries, other members of NATO are split on this. They still want the U.S. in there. The question is, does the U.S. really exert and assert U.S. leadership? And that's not appearing to be the case as a result of the example of Afghanistan. And I'm afraid that France particularly is looking at this now of going its own way and feeling slighted because of AUKUS, the Australian, U.S., UK arrangement on submarines. But we're seeing a different complexion now. It's evolving, and I think NATO once again is going to have to ask itself, what is our mission? What are we doing here? And what is our goal? That's why you're going to see a ramped up effort by Nuland and others to increase pressures within the Black Sea area and with NATO, with Ukraine, with Georgia, and trying to get them to join NATO. That will then put a whole new life into NATO to understand what the reason for existing is.
That's a key figure right there. That name, Victoria Nuland. You folks remember that. We got to leave it right there.
So NATO's in shambles. This kingdom is falling, man. All right, this kingdom is falling. All right. Why people think, I said, just because you can, all right, still go to these sports bars, whole chicken wing stuck in your teeth, all right, and you screaming at the TV, the bread and circus, people think, it's cool, but no, man, this place is falling, man. All right, this place is falling, man. War is on deck, man. The MOTB is on deck, man. Everything is lining up. All right, perfectly according to the scriptures, man. Now, when you get that prophecy in Daniel 2:42, this is brother by Young Yasha it says, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron, and see the toes of what? All right, these NATO and EU nations, man. You know, mainly the EU and America's within that. And part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And we're seeing it being partly broken, man. All right. You know, of course, it's strong militarily. You know, when you go into the forces of certain, EU nations, mainly Britain, all right, America, France, they're strong militarily, but then you have these other nations that are not as strong, all right, militarily or economically, man. Like Germany is pretty much strong economically, man, but you got nations like Greece, all right, Luxembourg, you know, those different EU nations that are not, up to par. And then now you have even division amongst the stronger of those nations, man. Poland, speaking about, doing its own thing, doing the Brexit, it's you know, I guess there'd be a Pexit. I don't know. All right. This is Daniel 2:43 says, whereas thou sawest the iron with miry clay, they mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. So we're seeing these nations, these EU nations not in sync. They're not in sync, with a plan going forward. They're divided. All right. And this is the scenario where Yahushua will show up, and it's going to go into it in prophecy again. Verse 44, Daniel 2:44. And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven, all right, set up a kingdom. And see what we're doing, we're being set up. The scriptures told Esau, look, I'm gonna set them in order before your eyes. See, that's why Yahushua say what? The kingdom is within us. See, now the next kingdom is being set up. The men and women are being groomed. The men and women of the whole collective Israel are being groomed for the next kingdom to come. While this kingdom is collapsing right before us, man. It says, which shall never be destroyed, all right, and that kingdom shall not be left to other people. And that's the kingdom, all right, of Israel, where Yahushua sitting on the throne, that eternal kingdom. You see? So, yeah, this place is done, man. All right. We're watching this place, decay, from the inside out, externally, internally. This place is done, man. This rulership is done. All right, on to the next. So Lord will, you brothers, and you few sisters, were edified, just wanted to touch on it, get us updated, any questions about anything, make sure, leave in the comment board later on. We can go into it. I just want to make sure we all have a solid understanding, how, these things link up, in prophecy, So Lord will, you brothers and you few sisters edified. Till next time I say Shalom, Kwam Yashala, Abba Babal, DTA soon. We going home, fam.